Hey everyone, it's Ellis, and this is the patch 12.23b notes rundown. There's not actually a whole lot going on in here, so in case you guys don't know, this is not an actual patch. So this is not patch 13. However, there are some sizable updates that did end up coming out, and with this, we do wrap up, I believe, preseason. The next patch that will end up coming out will be season 13.1. And if you guys have not already, or if you didn't see Twitter or anything like that, whole patron solo queue clash tier lists are completely overhauled, and now it is really condensed, and there's not a whole lot. So that is up on Patreon in case anyone wants to get that, as it has been updated and accommodates to everything that has happened this preseason. So mid-patch update on Mundo. Base health regeneration growth 0.75 to 0.55. Passive health loss 30% of current health to 4% of current health. Passive additional maximum health regeneration 0.4 to 2.5 to 0.4 to 2.3. Q health cost at all ranks 60 at all to 50 to 90, so punishes him a little bit less in the early laning phase, but then obviously later on in the game it will hurt a little bit more. And then E health cost 20 to 60 is going to be 10 to 70. This is extremely negligible. And the R cooldown is going to go up by 10 seconds. So all in all, Mundo is still absolutely, completely, disgustingly, brokenly busted. And this champion is absolutely ungodly in the later stages of the game, and it's actually frightening what he can do in a lot of games. He still does want to come in as a counter pick. You do not just want to blatantly blind him. However, Mundo should, in theory, be flexible in competitive. Hecarim. And actually, before I get on to Hecarim, some people might be wondering, LS, why is your cam frozen or something? It's not frozen. My face is extremely swollen right now, so I do hope that you guys enjoy the still image of my latest Instagram upload. So that is it. Hecarim, Q bonus, percent damage per stack, 4% plus 5% per 100 to 3% plus 4% per 100 bonus AD. Not the end of the world. He is just losing a little bit of damage. Hecarim is still going to be an S tier jungler. Very, very, very strong. Janna, passive bonus movement speed is going to be 8% to 6%. This is not a super big deal at the, I mean, it's like almost taking away magical boots from her, but not really quite. E bonus AD 10 to 40 plus 10% AP to 10 to 30 plus 10% AP. So Janna is getting a little bit of nerf. She is very good in the current meta with a lot of engaged champions, and she does reign supreme as a support queen right now. Lilia, passive percent health damage 6% to 5%. Q magic damage 40 to 80 plus 40% to 35 to 75 plus 40%. So just a little bit of base damage is going to be removed there. Q outer edge damage, true damage is also going to go down by 5. So Lilia still, I mean, she's going to be fine. The 1% passive percent health damage, I mean, it is some damage missing along with the base, but ultimately Lilia still will be an okay champion. But I do think that she primarily should be staying in competitive, not solo queue. Lux, EAP ratio increased 70 to 270 plus 70% AP, to 70 to 270 plus 80% AP. RAP ratio 300 to 500 plus 100% to 300 to 500 plus 120%. This is really big for support Lux. Now, the thing about this for mid Lux, in case a lot of people did not notice, there was an entire Reddit thread that was front page that went over a lot of the math on the Lux and how it ends up affecting the wave clear or something. So people could check that out for a much more detailed look. Realistically, what this ends up doing is, in the later stages of the game, this ends up giving Lux like an extra 60-something damage per E. But then when you consider the R as well, I mean, the Lux does start getting a lot more lethal thresholds. Even just from the get-go in early laning phase, I mean, Lux does get like... I mean... it's really hard to miss E, right? So when you have Lost Chapter and you're getting an extra 4 damage, I guess, per E that you end up, I mean, you'll throw a couple of E's, but then the R will end up coming in, and I mean, that'll end up being helpful. But really, this is a very big mid lane buff, or mid game buff for support Lux, and even, mid lane Lux and whatnot. So in that regard, it is very good. But definitely check out the wave clear in that thread so you guys can see exactly what goes on there. Mordekaiser, spooky bug fix. Fixed a bug where Mordekaiser could proc his passive by using his abilities on small monsters, okay? And now Nylar. I always forget how to say it. Q physical, so a lot of changes here. Q physical damage, 5 to 25, 90 to 130% total AD, to 5 to 25, 90 to 120% total AD. Q damage increase based on critical strike chance, 0 to 100% scaling with crit, to 0 to 100% scaling with crit. So they made her late game a lot stronger. but they made her early mid a little bit weaker. Q passive healing on basic and formless blade attacks against champions 0 to 15% post mitigation, scaling with crit chance to 0 to 20% post mitigation, scaling with crit chance. So again, same thing. R damage over time 15 to 45 to plus 35% bonus AD to 15 to 45 plus 28% bonus AD. Weird change. R damage at end of cast unchanged. R total damage 185 to 505 plus 260% bonus to 185 to 505 plus 232% bonus. R healing 30 to 45% post mitigation, scaling with crit chance to 20 to 50. So they're giving her a lot more sustain, and they're giving her mid and her late game a little bit more oomph in that department. But Nyla is already like a very conditional AD carry in many regards, and I don't know. She's in an okay state. I think these changes are fine. Rammus, he's been performing very well, obviously, in preseason. W cooldown 6 seconds to 7 seconds. W bonus armor 50 to 40. W bonus magic resistances 15 to 10. Not the end of the world because Rammus did end up getting a lot of buffs. And so in that regard, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for him. We move on to some of the other things here. UDYR is obviously a menace. WER mana cost 45 to 28, levels 1 to 18. 40 to 23, 1 to 18. Q bonus physical damage 3 to 10%, plus 6% per 100 bonus AD at target's max health to 3 to 8%. So it's losing 2% of the target's maximum health, plus 5% per 100 bonus AD. UDYR will typically, when he does the Prowler's Claw build, have like 2 of the AD items. So he's losing like 3 per... I mean, UDYR typically overkills you anyway, so honestly, I wish I could say this matters, but realistically, he almost does overkill you. If you have some HP items, you have Shield Bow or something like, you might have a chance. Q bonus physical damage on hit, 45 to 20% AD, to 5 to 35 plus 30% bonus AD, and so wait, what? So they're removing the Q physical damage outright, but then they're giving his Q on hit more. That doesn't even make any sense. As soon as he has his first 2 items complete, yeah. As soon as he has his first 2 items complete, every item forward will end up giving more. Q awaken physical damage 2 to 5%, 3% per 100 bonus AD. What target's maximum health 2 to 4%. Plus 2% per 100 bonus AD. R-based damage tick 10 to 50 to 10 to 60. This is all fine. I mean, UDYR is going to be doing the same exact thing. The tank UDYR ends up getting buffed at the end of the day from all of this. And the tank UDYR is obviously still an extremely viable version of UDYR that I think functions in competitive a lot better than the Prowler's UDYR does. Although the Prowler's UDYR is obviously a variation which can be played. Zed, Q base physical damage, 80 to 220, 70 to 210. So he's losing a very, well, I mean, in the early laning phases, this actually is a big deal because he does throw a lot of Qs for mid lane Zed. And even for his clear speed, I think this does slow it down just a little bit. E cooldown is also going up by 1 second. And so for an ability that doesn't start getting points into until later, I mean, it does stunt his mid game a little bit. And then the E base damage is also going down. So Zed in mid is losing a lot of damage. And then also Zed, even inside of the jungle, is definitely going to be losing some clear speed. Jackshow the Protean. Combined cost is going to be up by 100. Total gold cost is going to be up by 100. And armor and MR per second in combat with champions is going to be from 3 to 2. Not the end of the world. The item is still going to be viable. Lord Dominic's Regard. Giant Slayer bonus damage 0 to 15% based on maximum health difference. 0 to 25%. Wow. Health difference of maximum Giant Slayer damage 2,000 to 2,500. Okay, so for all of the like lethality into Lord like Eclipse Collector LDR IE, like those builders, right? Or even LDR second builders. I mean, there's even more reason not to build Collector anymore. So we'll definitely be making fun of Collector purchases in LCK, LCS, LEC, etc. in coming weeks. And so that will definitely be fun. Moss Stomper, 75 to 330, levels 1 to 18 to 60 to 281, levels 1 to 18 based. So shield strength is going to go down actually quite considerably. I don't think that's actually a negligible amount. Now, the level 1 to 18 thing is like really funny because, I mean, you never have it early, right? So the mid game is getting stunted. Green Smite definitely is the best smite, and I think Blue conditionally can be better than green. Really depends on matchups, depends on team compositions, depends on other things where like the MS can convert to more EHP than the greens might actually warrant. But again, it does depend. But it is really a war between green and blue right now, and unfortunately, Charizard is not the best in this instance. Ravenous Hydra, cleave damage, 50% total AD for melee, 25% total AD for range, 40% total AD for melee, 20%. Okay, let me think about this for a second. All right. And, yeah. Okay, so Carnivore stacks lost on death is going to be 50% of stacks, 60% of stacks. I mean, this is not the end of the world. Cleave damage. I don't know if it actually affects the wave clear for any of the champions that are actually abusing this right now. Because the wave clear is still just really, really, really good. The 5% total AD for range. I mean, the thing is that there's some AD carries that really use this very well right now. Varus right now with lethality is an absolute menace. Ezreal uses it. Jhin uses it right now in order to try to remain relevant. The stacks loss on death does not really matter. That's not really what this is about. The only thing that matters here is if it affects the wave clear, and I do not think that the loss of total AD actually does affect the wave clear because the item just gives too many stats. Stormrazor, 40 to 45, doesn't matter, joke item. Tiamat, cleave damage, 50% total AD for melee, 25. Okay, so the same thing as above, and now the jungle changes. Jungle companion damage reduction versus epic monster, 30% to 20. Jungle companion gold from bonus traits, 35 to 30. Red Brambleback gold adjusted, 85 to 80. So junglers are going to get less gold. Okay. Junglers are just going to get less gold, and then this is the mid-patch update for ARAM. So that is pretty much it. So, again, the competitive, I might make, I'll probably end up making actually a Season 13 competitive tier list once patch 13 comes out and we officially know what's going on. The problem is that I wouldn't expect too much variation from the current patches with 1223B, in that Riot doesn't like to do anything too chaotic right before the split's going to kick off. So once that ends up happening, Riot follows 2 patches after competitive. So what should end up happening is that on 12.3 we get our first real balance change that's influenced by pro play, and so we'll see what ends up happening in that regard. But right now, like Mundo, very good. Hecarim, very good. Janna, very, very good in support. Lux changes are very, very nice. UDYR should show up in pro play. A lot of things, right? Jack Show creates a lot of very interesting things in both top lane and in jungle. A lot of very good things. Ravenous Hydra also shifting some of the balance. And so I will make a tier list like I do normally for MSI and Worlds, except this time with all these changes and whatnot and with a complete overhaul to champions, I will just make it on what I predict for Season 13 as we head into all the major regions resuming competitive play. So hope you guys enjoyed the patch rundown. This is one of the shortest that I've done in absolutely forever. Off-season has been a bit of a drag. Not a whole lot of people are seemingly enjoying it, unfortunately. I wish that there was actually more changes. I do like some of them that ended up happening. Like I really like the new blast plants and everything. But it really has been a drag. I really do hope that when pro play resumes that it is exciting. And I look forward to it. So hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you in the next one.